Speaking of fans, the Evo is blowing up, so let's get to some of the tweets and see what people want to know. The first question comes from Still DD, who says, is Maroon 5 planning to come to Europe soon? Everybody wants to know when you're coming to their town, so give us a little gist of like when the tour starts and where you're going to go.
We definitely will be going to Europe, I think next year.
I wonder, maybe even a little bit
this year, doing some promo stuff, but we're going to tour Europe. I think that's probably what she means. We'll tour Europe next year, early to middle of the year. So thank you, Still DD, for inquiring about such an interesting thing that you need to know about.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we have dates fully booked, we'll put them right up on the website, so people will always know as soon as possible.
Also, Europe is a big place, so
it is a very big place.
Depending on where she's talking about.
Write a direct message back saying where. Let's just take a moment, too, to talk about how amazing this is that this is happening right now.
We're live on the internet getting questions via Twitter.
This is on the Evo.
Insane. What's happening is blowing my mind right now.
It's almost too real.
It's not just the hallucinogenic
Speaking
drugs
of which, we have a question from Krista C., who says, what's your inspiration behind the Misery video? And how much did Adam love his hairdo in it? What was
I loved my hairdo in that video. That's so weird. How much did it? Wow, that's a funny question. The idea kind of like it was Joseph Kahn's idea, and I take no credit for any of the things that happened. But I just leapt off of the page when I saw it. It said, once again we see this dude with a girl, and we think, oh, it's just another Maroon 5 video, except for one small thing. And then in bold letters it said, she's trying to kill him. And from that moment, I was like, all right, done. Let's do it. I didn't even have to read the rest of it because it was it's nice to think of something that. There's so many videos and there's so many cool things that people do, but like OK Go or something, making a video that's interesting to watch, people talking about it, and we had to do something like that where people were going to be like, oh wow, this is kind of turning the whole archetype on its end, and that was great. Also, me doing video with me beating the shit out of her probably wouldn't have gone over very well. So
probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
It didn't seem right.
There's another video question here from Base Fairy, who says, Adam, every video you wind up making out with some gorgeous babe. Is it as fun as it looks?
No, it's terrible. I hate my life.
Yeah, it looks really
Somebody
hard.
please kill me.
You.
My life sucks so bad. Just kidding. The opposite of that. My life's awesome, and I'm so stoked. And yes, of course, I am so thankful. This happened to be my girlfriend, so it was great.
That was your girlfriend in the video.
Yeah, there was a lot of chemistry. I think that chemistry is the most important thing. Right. We're not just hiring someone for me to make out with. It's actually someone that I make out with.
Enjoy making out with.
Basis, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, we have a question here from DL Queenie. Do you find it more unnerving to release Hands All Over with a history behind you, or songs about Jane when everything was the first time? Let me rephrase that. I think that...
I kind of know what she means. I know what she means. Yeah, it's strangely put, but I totally understand what she means.
Let's go back to when we put songs about Jane out, because we really had no fan base at the time. It was back in 2002 that it came out, and we were really nervous because we did not like it. As soon as we were done, we thought the mixes were terrible, and we just couldn't stand listening to it. And I don't think we knew at that point that was just like the mindset you get into if you're too close to the recording and you spend too much time. Yeah, because after 8 months, I loved it, and
Well, also, listen, the chief difference is you're nervous when your first record comes out because you're like, I can't afford lunch. Right. You're that kind of nervous. And then when your third record comes out, you're like, okay, God forbid it doesn't do well. I have some money in the bank, and you know what I mean. You're thinking along the lines of the first record comes out and you're just desperate to succeed in any way, and just because you want to get paid to play music, that's what we love to do, and your dreams are kind of on the line. Whereas now we've had a fortunate, amazing success, and been able to enjoy that, and we'll continue to enjoy our lives. Hopefully, this will all continue, but there's not nearly as much riding on it from a life standpoint, So. It's a different type of nervous energy. And we're just excited and anxious and want to get it out there. But, it's not necessarily our meal ticket. We're just really excited and genuinely thrilled to release this record, which is better. It's better that way. That's preferable that way. First time around, you don't ever know.
This is something that we all really stand behind already. It hasn't even gone through that 6 to 8 month period of getting back to being able to listen to it. And I know you'd say you can't listen to it right now.
I hate this stupid thing. I'll like it. again. In a
Someday.
couple, I won't. I mean,
Eventually.
well, because we listen to it up until the point you release it. You listen to it so like just incessantly. You're just listening to every little thing. So then when it comes out, I just leave it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want anything to do with it. I'll play it live. That's different. That's a unique experience. But listening to the recordings, I won't do. And then you turn around a year later, 2 years later, and you say, I like that. That's cool. But right now,
Also,
see ya.
just
It's for everyone
adding on
else now.
to what Adam was saying about how it's different this time around. I have this much more peaceful, sort of calm state of mind where it's like I don't worry about what this record's going to do at all because it's going to do whatever it's going to do. There's nothing we can do to really influence that, and so there's always so many other things in the world to think about. I don't ever want to fall into the trap of getting too caught up in Maroon 5 land.
Sort of overanalyzing
Yeah.
things. So you guys have spent a ton of time on the road since you basically hit it off.
Yeah.
When you're in the studio, are you at this point thinking about how you're going to translate these songs to the stage, or are
We
they two
should.
completely
I
different
think we
things?
should do that maybe a little more on the next record, but still, we always just
I
make the
don't.
record just for the record, and then later we try and figure out how we're going to play them live.
I personally, I love you, but I respectfully disagree.
That's fine.
I like the idea that when you're making a record, there are no rules at all as far as how you're making it. And sometimes it's a little more organic than other times, and sometimes a little more built up like a track. But at the end of the day, I think it's a great challenge to go into the studio and totally try that, doing the record and making the record for different reasons. And then you go out, then you go and do another challenge, which is, okay, now how do we make this pop live?
Right.
How do we make this work live? And I think those challenges are kind of what makes bands great, because if you went in there and recorded an album just by playing together and playing the record and then went out on tour and just played the songs the same way, I personally think it would be less challenging and probably more boring for a fan. Now we get to change it up, we get to add things, subtract things, see what works the best. There's a lot of elements to take from when you make a record. So I feel like we have a blank canvas as far as the way we present it live, which is cool.
I agree with that totally.